What's going on, Jeromes? Beautiful day for some Q&A. Let's fire it up. Thank you, everyone who submitted questions. Periodically, we'll put it out there, community tab. Call for Qs. So let's get it on. First up, Samuel Paradise, OG Jerome. If we were to be the 5th seed, which, I don't know, might happen. Like, can the Lions just get got one time? Like, can they stop tiptoeing through the tulips? Which team would you rather face between Seattle, Arizona, Atlanta, or Tampa? So the Vikings will play at Seattle, so a little bit later in the season, so they will get acclimated to that. At Arizona, could be. Arizona's a talented team, man, and every game is tough, especially playoffs, especially on the road. So there isn't really a gimme, and also I feel like it's kind of bad karma to try and groove a playoff matchup. But yeah, all of them present different matchup problems, and it's interesting that the Vikings would have played all three of the 4 teams with the Falcons coming up on Sunday. Just played Arizona and Seattle in a couple weeks, but I don't know. Like, ideally, it's so weird. I mean, say the Vikings steal the NFC North, but they could still end up the 2 seed, depending on what happens with the Eagles. It's really effing annoying this year, where there are the haves and have-nots in the National Football League. The Vikings have, but they don't have quite enough. But hopefully things will change. Just take care of your business and go from there. All right, but like I said, it's bad karma to try and groove a playoff matchup. Where would I rather play? To rank it, I would go Atlanta, Arizona, Seattle, then Tampa. Seattle mainly because of the fans. Tampa is last because I think they're the best team of the 4. So there you go. Next, Skull Life. How do you think the Falcons are going to cover JJ the Jet plane? So the Falcons do have a stud corner in AJ Terrell. I really respect his game. Now, he doesn't necessarily travel as a belt buckle to belt buckle corner. He does play on the outside, doesn't really kick inside. Also, it's funny, Mike Hughes plays for the Falcons. Good times, man. Plus, they do have one of the best safeties in the game in Jesse Bates. Justin Simmons is also a stud, too, in his advanced age, and also Alford working the slot. So, they got studs all over the place. I think it will be a combination of what we've seen before. I think the Falcons and Raheem Morris will deploy a lot of split safeties, a lot of cover 2 with Simmons and Bates. And Bates shading to Jefferson's side, just looking for that big play, which he's known to do. So it's going to be another. It's going to be another tough day for Justin Jefferson, but I think that he can rise up and overcome. And also, if they want to continue to double and triple Jefferson, Addison is really starting to eat, as well as Hawkinson. I think can have himself a big time game on Sunday as well. Next, Ian F. Should we look to replace our entire interior offensive line next year? It seems like everyone has struggled down the stretch at some point or the other. So Bradbury has done good in spots, but not great. Reisner had himself a nice ball game on Sunday against the Cardinals. Brandel, who started out really, really good, has struggled as of late. I don't think that any of them should be handed jobs next year. I think the Vikings should go hard in the paint, both in free agency and the draft, to try and gin up some competition, or just go out and really put the bang thing down. Like, go get Trey Smith from the Chiefs, go sign Ryan Kelly from the Colts, go sign Matt Freese from the Colts as well. Just go out and get that and invest heavily in the draft and interior offensive line as well, even though you don't have a lot of draft picks. But I would love to bring Reisner back as depth and competition, and who knows what's going to happen with Ed Ingram. They may part ways in this offseason. But also Bradbury, contract-wise, they can move on relatively unscathed. And then with Brandel, I'm fine having him back. Like, his contract is like upper echelon backup money, but not guaranteed a spot. Everyone competes, and they go from there. Yeah. Next, Andrew Hansen with Gilly going down. Do we think it will finally be time for Nudie to get some snaps? So, first part of that question. So O'Connell had talked about a lot of shouted out Dwight McLaughlin when the Vikings were talking about Gilly's hamstring injury. Now, he's hopeful that Gilmore returns on Sunday against the Falcons, which would be great. And you got Shaq and Murph out there as well. But Moreau did get a lot of run. Vikings played a lot of sub-package on defense against the Cardinals. But Nudie, like, Flores and O'Connell, keep talking up Dwight McLaughlin, except that they haven't given him a chance to show it on the field yet. Maybe they're trying to protect him. Maybe it's a development thing. Maybe they like his future, but maybe not right now. They did call up Nashawn Wright, elevated from the practice squad on Sunday. So we'll see if he'll be in the mix. Former third-round pick came in via trade from the Cowboys. Or is this a Patrick Peterson situation? Is this a Duke Shelley situation? Is this a Xavier Howard situation? We'll see. And then the defensive line. Also, Jalen Redmond needs to be on the field more on running downs. Dude is a piss missile off the line. Yes. Redmond is an absolute stud, a burst of energy. 2 straight tackles for loss against the Cardinals really helped set the tone. And you got a game ball from O'Connell at the end too. And Redmond, I love Jalen Redmond, man. He's a fantastic story. Undrafted out of Oklahoma, went to the UFL, Renegades, and he's just really solid, man. And I think that he has found himself a home here in the rotation, and just going from there. I love Nudie. I love Redmond. Love everyone, man. Lastly, Supercore. Who would you rather have, 2023 Kirk before the Achilles or 2024 Darnold? So I'm trying my best not to have recency bias here, since Slinging Sam Darnold obviously has done some pretty damn amazing things here with the Vikings. Kirk Cousins in 2023. So started off slow. I mean, the Vikings in general started off pretty damn slow, but they were getting into the groove of things. And Kurt's performance against the Niners, the touchdown to Addison, as well as his performance against the Packers before he popped his Achilles in Lambeau. I mean, that was peak Kirk Cousins, and that was the best that Kevin O'Connell has brought out of him. But with Darnold, I mean, 10 games with 100-plus quarterback rating out of 12, and you see the rapport that he has. You see just the grittiness that he has when he needs to make a play at the end. There is no pucker factor with Darnold. And also you factor in Darnold's mobility, buying some time for the offensive line as well as making plays downfield. Plus, the sort of beating out the gunslinger with him after that Jacksonville game. Has had 3 of his best games of his career. So I don't want to be recency biased, but I'm going to go Darnold, right? And if we're just talking about this season, not even factoring in age, cost, contract, and all that stuff, like I'm going with Slinging Sammy. So there you go. But that's it. Q&A. You guys are the best. You guys know what to do. Skull production value.